stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street, for the sins of our prophets and the iniquity of our priests that have shed the blood of the just in the midst of her. This lamentation of the destruction of the temple in 587 BC by the Babylonians mirrors Matthew chapter 24, where Jesus spoke of the temple's buildings being torn down so that not one stone would be left upon another. He used this destruction as a spiritual picture of the judgment that will come upon the New Testament corporate church, composed of both true believers and unbelievers, shortly before his return at the end of the world. In this setting, the destruction of the temple building signifies that the prophets, pastors, and teachers within the church are no longer being used to spiritually edify, a word that means build, the body of Christ, which is the true temple of God. And that's precisely why Jesus declared that the Great Tribulation is a time when there will be many false Christs and false prophets coming with signs and wonders in an effort to deceive the elect. In this respect, 1 Peter 2 and Ephesians 2 typifies God's elect as living stones that make up God's spiritual temple, with Jesus Christ himself serving as the chief cornerstone. Hence, 1 Corinthians 3 teaches Christ is the true foundation, and God's elect are the temple of God in whom the Spirit of God dwells. If any man, particularly false Christs and false prophets, defile or destroy the temple of God, him shall God destroy. The body of Christ is therefore portrayed as the true temple of God, built upon Christ through faithful spiritual edification using gold, silver, and precious stones. This spiritual temple ultimately finds its fulfillment in the New Jerusalem, whose foundation are adorned with precious stones symbolizing God's redeemed people who will be raptured possibly on 12 October 2028, on the last day of the Feast of Tabernacles, reminding us of the fall of Babylon during the Feast of Tabernacles on October 12, 539 BC, when King Cyrus, God's shepherd, a figure of Christ, liberated the Jewish exiles and permitted them to return to Israel to rebuild the temple and once again observe the Feast of Tabernacles.